Jerry Boykin is a former lieutenant general in the United States military. But let me give you his list of accomplishments. Well, that's an open question. But certainly the positions that he has held. In the Bush administration, Donald Rumsfeld nominated him for his third star as general and named him to a new position as Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. This guy was leading our intelligence movement in the Defense Department. Oh boy! But that's not all. He was named, I should say, as the head of the group that was seeking the most wanted men, the High Value Target Plan, which was tracking bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, etc. No wonder we didn't catch bin Laden under Bush, and Saddam Hussein took a while as well. Now you have to understand something. Boykin is not just the person who was nominated by Bush. He also headed the top secret Joint Special Operations Command. He served in the Central Intelligence Agency, and he was commander of the Army Special Forces, Armed Special Forces. Now, he has a miserable track record, don't get me wrong, okay? He was involved in Black Hawk Down, where we lost all those men in Somalia. He was involved all the way back to the Iranian hostage rescue attempt in 1980, which also went miserably. And he was even with Janet Reno during Waco. So, long list of failure, but he keeps getting promoted one time after another. Now, why is he in the news? Well, you might remember that this guy is a lunatic from the past times that he's been in the news. Back in 2003, he got on the news for a series of sermons that he did in churches across the country, talking about Islam and the American army. He said about our opponents in the different wars that happen to be Muslim. He said, why do they hate us? The answer to that is because we're a Christian nation. We are hated because we are a nation of believers. Now, that's not someone you want in charge of the wars, as we are going to, quote unquote, liberate Iraq and Afghanistan. We're supposed to be helping those Muslims. Instead, you've got a guy here saying they hate us because we're a Christian nation, and they are not. Now, other questionable quotes from Jerry Boykin were George Bush was not elected by a majority of voters in the United States. He was appointed by God. Okay, well, the first part of that statement is correct. The second part is questionable. Now, he went on to say about a guy that they were fighting against, that again happened to be Muslim, in this case in Somalia. He said, I knew that my God was bigger than his. I knew that my God was a real God, and his was an idol. To have this guy as a 3-star general out there as a head of intelligence under our Defense Department, what an unbelievable disaster, right? Clowns like this running our military in the Defense Department. In fact, if all this wasn't clear enough, he called the United States Army, quote, a Christian army. Okay, so why is he back in the news today? Well, not leaving stupid enough alone, he decided, I'm going to take it over the top. What can you do to beat that? Well, this.
The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. And in Revelation 19, it says when he comes back, he's coming back as what? A warrior. A mighty warrior leading a mighty army, riding a white horse with a blood-stained white robe. And I don't know about the theologians, and I was at Dallas Theological Seminary yesterday, and I said, I'm not going to argue theology with you folks, but I believe that blood on that robe is the blood of his enemies, because he's coming back as a warrior, carrying a sword. And I believe now, I've checked this out, I believe that sword he'll be carrying when he comes back is an AR-15.
Yes, Jesus with an AR-15. Yeah, and when he comes back, he'll murder all the people who don't agree with him. That's got, yes, Jesus! Bloodstained Jesus! Let me read you his positions again. Head of the top secret Joint Special Operations Command, served in the CIA, commanded Army Special Forces, Deputy Undersecretary for Defense for Intelligence, in charge of the High Value Target Plan, where we targeted Muslim leaders. Now, those guys should have been targeted, okay? We shouldn't have invaded Iraq, but I understand why those guys were targeted. But you got a guy who thinks he's leading a Christian army, and Jesus come back with an AR-15, and you put him in those positions? Look, I talked to Mikey Weinstein about this. You should check out the interview on TYT Interviews, okay? He's the guy fighting for religious freedom within the military. He's fighting to protect us from maniacs like this who believe that they're in the middle of a holy war and that we're not going to liberate the Iraqis or the people in Afghanistan. We're going to kill them in the name of Jesus. It's not even done yet. Wait till you hear this.
Where did the Second Amendment come from? I ask my students this. I ask men's groups. I say, where did the Second Amendment come from? From the Founding Fathers. It's in the Constitution. Well, yeah, I know that. But where did the whole concept come from? It came from Jesus. When he said to his disciples, now if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. I know, everybody says, well, that was a metaphor. It was not a metaphor. He was saying, in building my kingdom, you're going to have to fight at times. You won't build my kingdom with the sword, but you're going to have to defend yourself. And that was the beginning of the Second Amendment. That's where the whole thing came from. I can't prove that historically, and David will counsel me when this is over, but I know that's where it came from. And the sword today is the AR-15, so if you don't have one, you go get one. You're supposed to have one. It's biblical.
No, it's true. I read it in Exodus. Thou shalt get an AR-15, for when Jesus writes the Second Amendment, you shall need it for the Christian army of General Boykin. These are the guys that are leading our army? Now, luckily, he's a former lieutenant general and not in a position of power anymore. But how scary is that, man? To have these evangelical, fundamentalist lunatics. And he's no better than Hezbollah. Hezbollah means Army of God in Arabic. This is exactly how General Boykin views the U.S. military, which is, by the way, the most fearsome military ever put on planet Earth. And you've got guys like this who think, yeah, it's a Christian nation. Grab an AR-15 and kill for Jesus.